there's no way that lady's a heartbeat away from the president.
We have seen what can be unburdened by what has been.
There's no way. There's no way someone is not telling her to stop saying that same thing over and over again.
To see what can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been? Like, she just says it over and over and over again.
To see what can be unburdened by what has been.
This isn't real. This is writing. Someone wrote this. It seems like a script.
The ability to see what can be unburdened.
Kamala blinked, and suddenly, Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly teamed up on her reputation like it was up for debate. One moment, she's tossing around buzzwords, and the next, she's caught in a whirlwind on a widely viewed podcast. You won't believe how quickly things went from Madam Vice President to Madam, please reconsider. If political careers came with a warning label, hers would read, proceed with caution. Want to know how it unraveled? Stay tuned, this story is unforgettable.
To the doubt, I did not think she was an idiot. I now think she's a moron. She's not that smart. Forgive me, I'm still one of those people who gets wooed by titles. I'm like, she was the Attorney General of the state of California. You know, like, how dumb could she be? Like, dumb. The answer is very, very dumb is the answer. And I've come to that conclusion just with my own eyes and ears from watching and listening to her. She cannot put two sentences together. I mean, the old man is actually losing his mental faculties. She's just not a smart person. And it concerns me because that's all we...
Picture this. You're relaxed on the couch, a half-eaten bag of chips in hand, and Joe Rogan is nearly losing it not over a major revelation, but because Kamala Harris has just given a speech so perplexing it might as well be the world's most intricate tongue twister. Between her remarks on time and efforts made, Rogan's laughter peaks as he likens it to abstract art, minus the clarity. Even after others have stumbled, this moment stands out.
They offered for me to come to DC and do a show with Kamala, but even then it was the same deal. It was only like 45 minutes to an hour. It was not on my set, and I said that, look, he did it here, we should probably do it here. I wanted to release both of them on the same day. This was my goal, and I even offered to do it late that night. So the night that Trump came on, I'm like, what if we do her like when she's done in Texas? They never committed to doing it. I have a whole list of conversations that took place. So this whole idea that we drove for Trump, incorrect. But I think it's someone trying to cover their ass for the fact that
he leans in, diving deeper. This speech wasn't a minor misstep. Felt like someone hit the shuffle button on her words and forgot to hit pause. Rogan imagines even an AI could craft a more coherent argument under challenging circumstances. Here's the twist. This wasn't a fleeting moment. It was a complete derailment, as if watching a GPS recalibrate mid-drive, only for it to start belting show tunes at a stoplight.
For to you as a Californian, and that is Kamala Harris is gone, but she's not forgotten. And she went out to the LA wildfires as her first post-vice presidency act. And I mean, she had a lovely profundity for those of you out there. I think this is really going to buoy your mood, Sasha. Just take a listen. Take a listen.
Strangers who, in the face of that stranger, they see a neighbor. These are folks who understand the strength and the value of community, which is everyone coming together with a shared sense of purpose and identity as a community of people.
What is she talking about? Nobody knows.
What is she talking about?
Rogan captures it perfectly. Every time a challenging question arises, she responds with a laugh, one that feels rehearsed yet misplaced. It's not just nervousness. It's a reflex with impeccable timing. Is this a technical glitch? He muses. Is her mind buffering? It makes you wonder if political discourse now requires a refresh button, as the spectacle veers into uncharted territory.
there's a thing that came out recently. There was a book. There was some book about the Kamala Harris campaign, but they talked about her getting on this show. And they said a bunch of things that weren't true. They talked to, supposedly talked to like 150 different people about her and, you know, what happened with her coming on the show. I don't know if it's 150, a lot of people. They didn't talk to us, and which is kind of crazy. And it was just like, they didn't even ask. But they said things that just weren't true. One of the things they said that weren't true was that we lied about the day that Trump was coming on. No, we just didn't tell you that Trump was...
Then Rogan goes further. He discusses the great Kamala Harris disappearing act, the elusive presence of a key figure in leadership. She held immense power but remained less visible than a shadow in the dark. Where in the world is Kamala? He jokes, drawing comparisons to cooking show contestants who face more pressure and at least explain their outcomes. He imagines her retreating to a secure location stocked with sticky notes and decaf tea, her reflections echoing reassurance. Perhaps she's navigating a maze of political challenges, her metaphors offering no clear escape. When critical issues arise, her responses fade into phrases like passage of time, leaving only questions in their wake. And then comes the infamous story, the Tupac reference. A moment cemented in the annals of political missteps, alongside the most unforgettable public gaffes.
She actually said in the Pence-Harris VP debate in 2020.
I will repeat, and the American people know, that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact.
Joe Biden will not ban fracking because Joe Biden's position was, let's not ban fracking. And he was at the top of the ticket. But listen to how she mischaracterized it. All right, I'm going to go back through it with you. Will you ban fracking? She asked. No. And I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020 that I would not.
Rogan's expression shifts from amused to inquisitive, like a detective unraveling a mystery. He jokes that Kamala's career feels less like a traditional resume and more like a Marvel origin story with missing pages. He imagines her timeline, narrated by a Ken Burns-style documentary, just to piece together the scenes. Without it, her career feels like an improvised episode of Drunk History, written by a GPS losing signal mid-route. Rogan zooms out, pondering the question on everyone's mind. How did this inconsistent communication style land her a heartbeat away from immense responsibility? It's not just a misstep, it feels like a cosmic mix-up. He wonders aloud if leadership roles were assigned by a dartboard in a moment of universal boredom.
Dare we say Merry Christmas?
How dare you say that?
How dare we?
It offends
Did
me.
you ever see Kamala Harris do that when she had that
She
speech?
said, "How dare you say f***ing Christmas?"
You've never seen it?
No.
Oh my god. Okay, let's start with this because it's so crazy.
How dare we speak Merry Christmas?
I don't understand the context. So, like, I wish I could be charitable and say, well, there's probably a context where this makes sense.
Yeah, Satan is the Lord of the earth.
Rogan leans back, hypothesizing how the selection process might have gone. Can she string together a sentence? Sort of. Has she ever discussed root causes without veering into abstract theories? Maybe. He jokes that the criteria were less about qualifications and more about vibe checks. As Rogan wraps up, Kelly takes center stage with sharp precision. Gone is the playful chaos, her tone shifts to incisive critique. She opens with a metaphorical reveal, not of magic tricks, but of policy failures. Kamala, she argues, is like a modern Houdini not escaping restraints, but slipping away from critical responsibilities. While present for ribbon cuttings and celebrity selfies, she disappears when challenges like the border crisis arise. Kelly's focus sharpens as she deconstructs the border czar role, contrasting its weighty title with its questionable execution.
As Trump's numbers continue to go up and up and up, and I realize some of the polls are showing him beating Joe Biden now in a hypothetical matchup, he's still very vulnerable. He did not win in 2020, and it looks like it's going to be the same matchup. And honestly, Joe Biden's knocking on, the Grim Reaper's door, and she could be the president of the United States in the next 6 years by default, if things go, in a dark and upsetting way.
And yet, as months pass, the border situation worsens. While Kamala appears engaged in everything but the job, Kelly's tone grows even drier as she highlights the decision to visit Guatemala instead of Texas. Her raised eyebrow conveys the absurdity as she wonders if it was a diplomatic mission or a quest for photo opportunities. The irony, she notes, speaks louder than any critique. Kelly then dissects Harris's foreign diplomacy approach, carefully staged, yet followed by nervous laughter. She critiques it as incoherent, likening European diplomats' reactions to watching logic evaporate. Delving into Harris's history, Kelly notes her shift from a toughened crime prosecutor to an advocate who now speaks proudly of her past indulgences. Kelly calls it a blatant contradiction, comparing it to someone punished for stealing candy, only to later brag about it.
And when we all sing happy tunes and sing Merry Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas.
Let me just be the nicest person possible.
Yes.
Like, what could be the reason why
Yeah.
you would say, how dare we say Merry Christmas?
Yeah.
Unless you're playing a character.
These children are not going to have a Merry Christmas.
Unless she's on stage doing a play. She's like, I want to read from my college.
Next, Kelly examines the reliance on identity politics. She asserts that diversity credentials don't exempt someone from accountability. A speech's merit must stand on its substance, not symbolic representation. With razor-sharp delivery, Kelly concludes that the nation deserves a vice president capable of clear, decisive communication. As she finishes, the spotlight shifts back to Rogan, who quips, "The only thing less stable than her approval numbers is her sentence structure." It's a line crafted to provoke both laughter and reflection, drawing attention to the gap between political presence and performance.
Acknowledging today, which has been completely in the tank for Team Harris, acknowledging, quote, she did not break much ground or stray far from her talking points. Maybe it's because of the pathetic display of journalism that came her way. Honestly, I don't even know if we can blame this one on Kamala Harris. I blame it on you. You were
Rogan continues, "Imagine a sentence held together by dental floss and hope that's Kamala in public speaking form." He describes her speeches as a collection of runaway commas and fragmented thoughts. Kelly picks up the thread, noting, if Biden falters, Kamala becomes president. And that's not just concerning, that's sitcom material. Together, they craft a mock campaign ad, complete with patriotic music and flags waving. While Kamala delivers a speech that teeters on the edge of coherence, Rogan concludes, "Vote Kamala," confusing the nation, one laugh at a time. He deadpans, "I'd rather vote for the vending machine that ate my dollar, it might be broken. But at least it responds when you kick it."
I just wondered with Kamala Harris, like I've seen her talk before and she's hilarious.
So the scientists and the astronauts and the mathematicians and the Vice President of the United States.
Some people just clam up
Good afternoon, everyone.
when they get in front of a camera and when they know the whole world's watching and they know there's a lot of pressure, and if they've fucked up a bunch of times before.
And is that a socialist or progressive perspective?
No.
Like, to be good at public speaking under pressure, you have to have a lot of reps in.
That he's entitled to his opinion.
You gotta do it a long time.
She's running for president?
Megyn is laughing but remains as incisive as ever, suggesting Kamala's campaign slogan should be something like, "Words. We use them. Mostly." Together, they brainstorm alternatives like, "Leadership you can question and experience. You can't Google." Even a hypothetical laugh track would give up and leave out of secondhand embarrassment. Then they cut to the heart of it, not harsh, but candid. They clarify that Kamala isn't a comic book villain plotting in a dark room. She's not malicious, just wildly unprepared. Joe compares her to a sitcom extra suddenly thrust into the role of a neurosurgeon. She has the clipboard, the lab coat, and confident gestures, but when it's time to act, she's holding the scalpel backwards and narrating about the passage of time. Megyn wraps it up with biting sarcasm. Every sentence Kamala speaks is a journey, but unfortunately, none of them reach the intended destination. Instead, they dissolve somewhere between root causes and another tangled thought. Their commentary doesn't shout or reject, delivers facts, dressed in wit, and served with a side of incredulity. Meanwhile, somewhere in the distance, Kamala's approval rating is metaphorically clutching its pearls, wondering how much lower it can go.
Do you remember that question they asked Trump to kick off his appearance there? Basically, why are you such a raging racist? We know you hate black people. Why are you even here? And how did it go when Kamala Harris sat down? Here's one example, courtesy of Jaron Keith Gaynor of The Griot.
Why is joy important to you to insert into this election? What do you make of Republicans using that as a way to suggest that you're not a serious?
And absolutely no one is asking for a sequel. Megyn, with her sharp wit, points out, if Biden stumbles again, guess who's next? It's not just concerning, it's sitcom material. Together, they envisioned the scenario: Kamala, as president, on stage, attempting to announce Secret Santa results while half the country is still trying to untangle her modifiers. They craft a mock campaign ad: "Vote Kamala, confuse the nation, one cackle at a time." Joe interjects, deadpan, "I'd vote for the vending machine that ate my dollar last week." At least it responds to input. The irony deepens as they both lean into their consensus. She isn't harmful, just profoundly unprepared. Joe delivers the punchline. It's like casting a sitcom extra as a heart surgeon looks the part, sounds off, and causes chaos. Megyn follows with her sharp critique. The only way she'll finish a complete thought is with a script hand. Even then, you're holding your breath. This isn't a heated debate. There are no rebuttals or dramatic standoffs, just sharp, comedic takedowns. Joe speaks with disbelief and humor. Megyn is precise and unapologetic, both delivering their critiques with cutting precision.